lights are off and away they go.
Extremely loose. He's managed to hold on and they get.
He missed the complete. He's crazy stuff.
Side Freitas is on the grass on the infield before. He slides through. He tags Richard Eck.
Near the banks of the Lambro River sits the royal villa of Monza. Today we float high above, looking down at historic Autodromo Nazionale Monza, which plays host to the penultimate round on the GT3 series schedule. And all the action, including a 10-driver qualifying shootout and the 60-minute main event, will be shown to you live as it happens here on the Global Sim Racing channel. So bring cyberspace into your place, dish up a plate of pasta Alfredo, uncork a bottle of vino, sit back and enjoy the simulated road course excitement that will be streaming your way. Ciao everyone and welcome to another GSRC broadcast. I'm your host Bill Soupson. Joining me in the booth is Samuel Ryman. Keeping us on schedule from the production van is our director Joe Peak, armed with the camera sets provided by the one and only Dougie Beard. This broadcast is made possible thanks to the good folks at The Screwed Gamers, Kart Action Media, and Zanardi Course Australia. And keep things interesting, 500 Australian dollars are in the prize pool. Sam, we visit Monza. Tell us a little bit about this Italian racetrack.
Well, Monza, Bill, is one of the most historic racetracks in the world. However, like most historic tracks, it was built for danger, with lots of opportunities for the cars to reach high speeds around the long straights here. Now, those straights do still exist, and will see high speeds today, but what we also see is 11 turns, all but 4 of which are part of chicanes, and a 3.6 mile track for these drivers to do battles on. Some drivers like it, some drivers hate it. Fans usually like it because of the history and the atmosphere around here. So what exactly is it like from the driver's seat? Well, let's show you with our GSRC lap guide.
Alright, we've got Kevin Brown in the GSRC Z4, so let's do a lap around Monza. Coming down to the Retifilia chicane, it's a huge braking zone, and with the draft, this means it'll be a great passing opportunity. But you really want to get it done before you're into the corner, because it's extremely tight, and too wide usually doesn't end well. Expect a huge traffic jam here on lap 1. From there, we enter the gentle Curva Grande, which will be flat out in these GT3 cars. Just minimize your steering input, and once again, if you're close, the draft will start to take effect. Once you're out of the corner, drift back to the right and line the car up to get ready for the Della Roggia chicane. If you overshoot it, it's going to be bad news because of the sleeping policeman speed bumps scattered all over the runoff. Likewise, if you exit a little too hot, there's a big old gravel trap ready to ruin your speed. Precision will pay off here. Then it's a short burst to the first Lesmo. There's a fair bit of camber here, but it's deceiving because it's a late apex corner and easy to come in too shallow. Then there's not much time before the second Lesmo. This one is a quick flick, but also a critical spot to nail the exit. It's followed by a long, flat-out stretch where the guy behind will be eager to outgun you. Just a slight bend to the left, a dip below the old oval, and we're getting ready for the Ascari chicane. This one is very different from the previous two in that it's quite a bit faster and has 3 apexes to worry about. Once again, there's large inside curbs that will punish you if you get too greedy. As you come off the end, make sure to use as much of the runoff as you can, since it's all considered inbounds and there's a fair ways until the Parabolica. This is another possible place to set up a pass. But in these modern cars, this isn't a terribly slow corner. You've got to make sure you own the apex so you don't get chopped off by your opponent. Besides, a more clever driver might be looking to focus on getting a good run out of the corner, since the front stretch is much longer and offers a more definitive place to overtake. Let the car drift off to the left on this super wide straightaway and wave to the Tifosi as you complete your lap around Monza.
Kevin Brown behind the wheel, Joe Peak behind the mic, and they take us around a lap here at Monza. A really pretty track. Nice, a lot of trees here. I like the layout here at this one. Sometimes hard for me to get a view of the entire track from one location with all the trees that line this place, but it is pretty. Okay, now here's what's going on, fans. The drivers right now are qualifying, and what they're attempting to do is get inside the top 10, because that'll allow them to advance into the 10-driver shootout that we're going to bring you here in just a moment after this qualifying wraps up. There's about 4 minutes left in qualifying, and right now, Sam, the driver on the pole is Jared Fussell, but he's in the pits. Anybody out there on the track that's trying to break in here? Maybe Riley Blythe, huh?
Yeah, well, Jared Fussell there actually on the pole of drivers who won't be in the top 10 shootout, sitting back there in 11th position. Justin Strickland currently out there on provisional pole, but as you mentioned, those top 10 qualifiers will advance to a one-lap shootout each. I'm keeping my eye on Riley Blythe in the number 267. He's actually 13th on the timing charts right now, behind Jared Fussell and Stuart Hall. But he's a driver we're used to seeing up there, so I'm waiting for him to put a solid lap in. However, my hopes aren't too high. He was only 11th fastest in practice, and I was watching him just a couple of laps ago. He wasn't hooked up. But currently he's on his out lap here, so his tyres will be fresh. I'll be keeping an eye on this number 267 car next time around.
We see him right there making his way to Parabolica right now. And apparently this is his out lap. Sam's been watching him, so I guess this lap, this time across the start-finish line, probably not going to be the time he's looking for. He'll have his hot lap after this.
Yeah, you talked about Jared Fussell. He's also on his out lap. Stuart Hall currently in the pits. But yeah, Justin Strickland, John Heisnick, Marcelo Rivera, Richard Hampstead, Joshua Rogers, Tim Ryan, Zachary Handlin, Louise Gallon, Mark Rayner and Martin Silvazzi are currently the 10 drivers looking to get into that top 10 shootout, Bill. But you can see the clock is ticking down, and you can see lots of cars still out there on track, so that could change.
There's Strickland right now. We saw him in that familiar green McLaren. Now we're looking at Fussell on a hot lap here. Remember, Martin Silvazzi is on the bubble right now, sitting in 10th, hoping to stay there.
Yeah, that was
1 minute 47.8. Right behind him was Fussell. He had a 1 minute 47.8 as well, so he certainly has the speed to knock him off.
Yeah, I think Fussell was on an out lap there. That's his fastest time currently being shown on screen right now, which is only good for 13th quick right now. Now, of course, the top 10 drivers, their times will be reset, but you still want to be the fastest of them, because then that means you get to be the 10th driver to go out on track in the top 10 shootout.
Looking at Blythe right now. Now, remember, boy, he is really pushing the envelope of the track. Hopefully he did not pick up an incident point there, because the lap has to be clean. You got to be perfect. iRacing will let you get a little bit off the track, but you get too far, they think you're cheating, and they're not going to give you a time. Let's see if he picks up a time here around Parabolica. And now he has his foot to the floor, heading down to the start-finish line here, and his time is not an improvement, so he is
Yeah, I'm guessing he did go off course there, Bill. So he'll try again. He's got enough time still there on the board.
And that one's not going to count either. So unfortunately, you know what that means is now he's got to go back to the pits, and he has got to go all the way around before he can actually put one in. So he's going to have he's going to have to get. Yeah, he might not be able to get there.
He's not going to have enough time, Bill, but here comes Jared Fussell. He crosses the line. 147.822 is the time that would get him in the top 10, and it looks like he wasn't able to run that, but he's got enough time to turn another lap here.
Stuart Hall sits in 12th. He's in the pits right now. So is Blythe. Philip Morton has a shot at it. He's just crossed the start-finish lane right now, so he'll be on a hot lap right here. Still has time. This will probably be the last driver that'll get one in.
Yeah, unless of course they extend the session. iRacing is generous like that sometimes. Morton has the pace to get up there, it seems. He was 9th fastest in practice. However, we have seen drivers pick up the time between practice and qualifying.
I would say only 2 cars out there right now that have a shot. Jared Fussell and Philip Morton. Oh, and Morton takes it. I'm sorry, Fussell takes it very wide. I'm not sure if that's going to count now.
And of course, the 10 drivers who are sitting in the top 10 are still trying to put on fast laps so they don't have to go out as early in that top 10 shootout, where the 10th fastest car will do 1 lap, then the 9th fastest car will do 1 lap. Checkered flag is out. The session has been extended for a couple more minutes. Let's see if anyone can improve.
Morton doesn't complete his lap. Fussell has a shot at this unless he's already used up, unless he's already gone off track. We don't really know that right now.
Yeah, well, his fastest time has been a 1:47.831. He's only actually turned 3 times during this qualifying session, and that 1:47.831 is going to have to stand. So Fussell will start 11th on the grid.
Yeah, with only, with a minute and 50 to go, I guess he probably could get this lap in, right? Nope. Oh, the checker flag is out, so he's not going to get this extra one. That was his hot lap.
That's Marcelo Rivera crossing the line there. He remains 3rd.
So I think we can go ahead and bring it up, and our director has done that already up there for you. Justin Strickland on the pole. Let me give you that time. That was a 46.7. Peacenik again with a 46.7 as well. Then a couple tenths back. Marcelo Rivera, good to see him back here again. Hopefully he's able to make all the sessions. Sometimes we lose Marcelo in these multi-session events. Richard Hampstead, your overall point leader, running in 4th fastest. Joshua Kenny Rogers in 5th. Tim Ryan, Zachary Hanlon. Luis Pablo Galon back with us. Mark Rayner in 9th, and then the man on the bubble, and the bubble did not burst, Martin Slavasi. Okay, that's going to end our first segment here on GSRC, but don't go away. We're going to take a short break, and then we will be back to set up the 10-driver shootout, so you won't want to miss that. That's going to be some exciting stuff. Back in just a few. Welcome back to the Global Sim Racing Channel's coverage of the IDA GT3 series. This is round 14 from Monza. And Sam, what's on tap right now is the top 10 shootout. What's really going on here?
Well, the drivers who placed in the top 10 in qualifying in the 1 hour session that they just had, the top 10 drivers, each get to have the track to themselves for 1 lap. They'll just have one opportunity to put on a hot lap. This is basically the origins of this come from this series used it at Mount Panorama when they did the race at Bathurst earlier this season, because this is how the qualifying format is done for the Bathurst 1000. The league organisers thought it was successful, so they have carried it over to the penultimate round of the season here at Monza. We know this series has been mixing up the formats during the course of the season, and so I guess they looked at this race and realised, hey, we've got just a 1 hour standard race format, so let's mix it up a bit with a bit of a unique qualifying session. That means these 10 drivers, beginning with Martin Salvazzi here, who was 10th fastest in the first round of qualifying, if you want to put it that way, and good thing it's his out lap, because his hot lap won't count if he does that next time around. Basically, you know, they each get to experiment a little bit more, turn a lap on the track, see how it feels, and as you can see, the weather's a bit different, and we even saw at Bathurst that did play a big role during the qualifying times. It mixed the grid up a little bit.
Right now, working his way through that final chicane, then down this backstretch into Parabolica. Looks like he's weaving back and forth, trying to get a little heat in the tires here.
Yeah, and who can blame him in that number 010 Mercedes? Now, of course, there's different cars in the IDA GT3 series. The Mercedes is one of the more popular cars. However, there's really no advantaged machine here at Monza, it seems. In our top 5 in the first round of qualifying, there was a Mercedes, a McLaren, a Ford, and an Audi. So there's a mixture up front here. Anyhow, Martin has crossed the start-finish line to begin his hot lap, and here he comes down into Rettifilio chicane.
Remember, he's got to keep it clean, got to keep the car on the track. If he gets a little bit of loose coming out of that chicane there, but keeps it going. If he gets off the track, his lap will not count.
Yeah, and I think we'll see that happen to a couple of drivers during this session, Bill. I mean, Martin was 10th fastest in first round of qualifying, so he doesn't really have anything to lose here. As long as he puts on a solid lap and keeps it on the course, I'm sure a couple, I don't know if that will discredit this lap. A couple other drivers, their lap times may not count, and he'll get to start up there, you know, maybe around 6th or 7th or so. Of course, he's thinking better than that, but I don't know. He's making a lot of mistakes on this hot lap here.
40 seconds flat on what we're going to call our first segment there. It's under that little bridge right before they go into the first 2 Lesmo there.
Yeah, now here he comes through the Ascari chicane and the long run down to the Parabolica, the final turn. I'm still not sure if this lap's going to count, Bill, but he sure is giving it its all, so hopefully that means iRacing didn't count that little moment we saw early in the lap as an off course.
They let you go a little bit off, don't they, Sam? This, oh boy, he's getting a late apex in Parabolica there. Really didn't find it much. Let's see what kind of pace he can get coming out. And as we talk about this, Mark Rayner's going to pull out now, start his warm-up lap. As Salvazzi gets a time of 1:50.
Yeah, and we've got him here for an interview, Bill. Talk about that lap. So hand over to you, Bill.
Martin, you got the lap in. We were a little bit worried there that you had it off, but you knew you were still having a hot lap there, right? Let's try one more time, see if we can get to Martin. Martin doesn't hear us. We're not. See if he can turn his mic on. Oh, that's okay. I was looking at Martin there for a minute. He put it on his side. There he's in the pits. He can talk to us. Meanwhile, Mark Rayner is out there. Martin, you have a copy? Nope, that's we're not going to hear from Martin. Got it as 150.006 is that time. Now you see right there, Mark Rayner.
Yeah, a bit slower than the lap times we saw in the first round of qualifying, Bill, but as we mentioned, the sun has came out and heated the track up a bit, so there'll be a bit less grip up there. The track temperature is 106 degrees. You also see Mark Rayner putting a couple wheels off just on his outlap. He isn't really warming the tyres up as much here as what we saw Martin Silvazzi do, Bill, but I don't know, it's a hot lap that counts. If he keeps it clean, I have a feeling he should be able to go a little bit faster than Martin.
Works parabolic, and of course, you just want to get as much speed out of there on that, on your qualifying lap as you can. And we'll start the clock on him and see if we can get a little interval time. Coming up to this first chicane. Redifilo.
Think he nailed that pretty good there. Still a long way to go though. That's the first chicane, the Retafilio chicane. Now they go through the Curve Grande, which is one of those 4 turns on this circuit that's not a chicane. Then they come up to the second chicane here, the Variante chicane, and then they go into 2 right-handers. Yes, you actually get 2 back-to-back turns once it gets through this chicane. You actually have 2 consecutive turns that are not chicanes here on the Monza circuit. The only part that happens on the whole circuit. But they can be tricky just as well, although Mark Rayner is nailing them really well right now. And now after this, oh, he ran a bit wide on the exit, and that's going to hurt his top end speed down the straight. He's got the Ascari chicane and the Parabolica.
He put in a 39.9. 39.9, so he's about a tenth of a second faster than Martin Silvazzi. Of course, I'm doing this old school by eyeballs and thumbs, so it could be a little bit off. But this lap looks pretty darn good. Let's see how he does off of here. This is where you want to have a nice exit through that Ascari there. Get a nice run down into Parabolica.
Yeah, my director correcting me there that the second chicane is called the Della Rogia chicane. Variante is actually a name included in the first 2 chicanes here. I haven't brushed up on my Italian. Anyhow, Mark Rayner looks like he's done a really good lap here, Bill. Yeah, let's see how fast he goes.
It's a long way. Look how far the start-finish line is down the straight. That's something to keep in mind when we watch the race there. 149.329. That's going to put him on the pole for now. Let's see if we can talk to Mark. Mark, do you have a copy?
Yeah, you got me?
We sure do. Well, you got good enough there. You beat Silvazzi by about a tenth of a second. Your lap looked pretty smooth to us. How did it feel to you?
Yeah, it wasn't too bad. I took away too much curb at the first corner there, and I think that's where I lost most of my time.
How do you feel about the race today? Have you had any time to put in any practice?
Yeah, put plenty of practice in. I think I've got a good race car, so I'm pretty happy with it. It's very safe. It's not the fastest, but I'm happy that I'll get a full hour out of it, and I should get a clean race, hopefully.
Well, you got sitting up there right now. I'm not sure. What would you expect? What would be your, obviously you want to sit on the pole. What would be your hope to qualifying position for yourself?
Oh, I reckon I'll still be 8th or 9th, I reckon, after that one. But it is a bit hotter, so I don't think anyone will go as fast as they did in the other practice.
All right, well, good luck hanging in there, and we'll catch you in the race. Good luck to you.
Thank you.
Mark Rayner, your provisional pole sitter right now. Looking at a little slow getting the driver out there. Just coming out on the track is, what do we have out there? There we go, Zachary Hamlin.
Yeah, Zachary Hamlin, and it's not supposed to be, Bill. The reason it's a bit late getting out on track here, Luis Paulo Galon was supposed to go out on course. However, he, for whatever reason, didn't take out onto the track in time. The organisers tried to contact him, were unable to do so, so they moved up. Basically, he's been quote-unquote DQ'd, which I assume means his lap time won't count, and he'll have to start the race from 10th position here after getting through into the second round of qualifying. So Zachary Hamlin, who was 7th in the first round of qualifying, has now gone out on course and will be the third driver to put on a lap time in this second session.
Let's give a big welcome back to Zachary Hanlon, who had to serve I believe it was a 2-race suspension there. He got a little too aggressive. Must admit, he is one of the most exciting drivers to watch, but sometimes the excitement gets the best of him. So I'm glad to see he's back, and that's going to help because his team is in a championship team for the championship there, and it's important that he comes back, gives his partner a little bit of a help here. And as far as Luis Pablo Galón goes, I wonder if it was maybe a little bit of a language problem there. I don't want to assume that Luis might have trouble with English just by his name, but that could be one of the reasons.
Zachary Hanlon in the Mercedes, so our first 3 drivers to take to the course here have all been in Mercedes. As we mentioned, it's probably the most popular car that the drivers have a choice of here in the ITA GT3 series, and they have to stick to that all season long. We've seen both runs so far, Bill, that the 106-degree track temperature has led to these cars sliding around a bit. Mark Rayner did a much better job of holding onto it though than Martin Silvazzi did. What can Zachary Hanlon do?
Boy, that first chicane there is so slow. You really just have to get the car really wound up after that straightaway.
Yeah, I think it doesn't help that he overshot it a little bit, I would say. However, it also can help because you're going so fast on that front straight that if you do brake late and get through the chicane really slowly, you did get to maximise the speed, maximise your time that you were on the front straight there.
39.4 for a split time, so that's about 0.5 of a second faster than what we saw from Mark Rayner. Boy, he really cut the corner there too as he worked through that second Lesmo now as he works down into the final chicane here, the Ascari chicane, a little triple header chicane, a little left-right-left combo.
Yeah, he's taken full advantage of the AstroTurf. I mean, it looks like he's cutting a turn, but there's curbs and green stuff there that's not grass, so the drivers are welcome to take full advantage of that, and Zachary Hanlon is doing exactly that. I was a little concerned about how he got through turn 1, but Bill Zahn's ever-accurate timing system says that he was okay at the halfway point of a lap, and I think his second half of a lap has been quite clean so far. A lot of time can be gained in the Parabolica. That looked nice through there. Let's see what time this is.
Don't question the thumb, baby. Alright, here we go. And he works his way across, and sure enough, 148.5. That's about 0.8 of a second faster than Mark Rayner. So our new pole sitter provisionally is Zachary Hanlon. Zachary, let's see if we can bring him. Do we have him? There we go. Zachary, congratulations on that run. First of all, welcome back to the series.
Yeah, thanks very much, mate. Wasn't too disappointed with that lap, sorry. I'm extremely sick at the moment. The lap was okay, probably had about another half, maybe half a second in it, but I just wanted to put down something because it looks pretty slippery out here, so I'm sure someone's bound to make a mistake.
Have you had much time to practice for the race?
No, I've been sick for quite a couple of days. Obviously our team's trying to qualify for the Blancpain Endurance World Championships, so we've done some testing in the weeks leading up to this anyway. But in the last few days I haven't had anything, so I had to jump in and do it on the fly.
Well, congratulations on the provisional pole right now. It's a pretty good qualifying time, and good luck in the races coming up.
Thanks a lot, guys.
Our first non-Mercedes taken to the track here, Tim Ryan, a new name to the series here, Bill. To my knowledge, he is out there in an Audi.
Yeah, I'm with you on that one too. I'm usually pretty up on these guys, but Tim is a new one. Usually they tell us when they have a wild card driver coming in here. Of course, Tim may have been an original entry into the series, and this haven't raced before, and this could just be his first race.
Let's see what the Audi can do. He was going 164 miles an hour before braking into this first chicane. Yeah, I think he nailed that quite nicely. Through the Curve Grande, where they say they're going to add a chicane in here in the future.
No. No. Oh, they're going to take away. I'm hearing from the director. They're taking away the first. Okay, as long as they take one away. This track needs no more chicanes than it has right now.
Well, here's two traditional turns, little right-handers. They look simple and innocent, don't they? 90-degree right-handers, and it's not exactly like you're going to get a large run on the guy in front of you going through them, but sure enough, there's been plenty of drama through those turns in the past. Now Tim Ryan runs down the hill. It's a pretty steep hill this, and there you see him go under the bridge. That's the oval banking that runs across the racetrack. Of course, on iRacing you can actually run that oval. Tim Ryan, I think he went a little bit hot into Ascari there. It's probably going to cost him some time. Also a bit of a wobble coming out of Ascari, and that's a shame, Bill, because he had been on the good lap before that.
Yeah, the thumb said he was a tenth of a second faster than Hanlon there, but I'm not sure. He might have gave some up on this back half. Let's see how it comes out.
Running through the parabolic, he's just got the run down to the line now. Big spreads between Hamlin, Reynat and Silvazzi who have gone so far. They're all about 7-8 tenths of a second apart. Tim Ryan is going to filter into the first of those gaps. He goes 2 tenths slower than Zachary Hamlin, goes second fastest.
Yeah, Sam, I think you caught it. I think he gave a little bit back on the back half of the track. So we'll see if we can bring Tim in to talk with us here.
I think he's still walking around there in the lobby.
Tim, we brought you in. Do you have a copy?
Sure do.
Hey, we thought you had a pretty good front side of the lap, and then the back side looked like you may have gave a little bit away. Is that was your take too, or not?
Yeah, I gave up a lot through Ascari, just didn't quite hit the apex, and it's quite crucial to ride over the curb there, so yeah, that probably cost me 3 tenths.
Now, I must admit, your name is a little unfamiliar to me. Have you been? Is this your first race in the series?
Yeah, first round. Clint allowed me to race tonight for practice for this weekend's BS qualifier race, which is also at Monza, so that was good of him.
Well, good luck at the race coming up, the BS race, of course, and then good luck here today. Have you had much time to practice for this event?
Oh, mate, I've done 1,000 laps around here.
What is your pit strategy here for this? Do you know what the?
I'll probably run the tank dry and then fill it up. I think you'll need probably around 20 litres, I think. I'm just guessing at the moment. But yeah, I'll sort it out during the race.
All right, well, good luck to you in the race, Tim.
Thank you very much.
Tim sitting second in qualifying right now. And now who are we looking at here?
The gambling man, Joshua Kenny Rogers, is out there on the track. He just began his lap in the 4th Mercedes. This is the 5th car we've seen take to the track in this session, the 4th Mercedes. And of course, even though it's only the 5th car, we've only got 4 left to go because of what happened to Louise Gallon earlier on in this session. I'll tell you what, Bill, this is running by a lot quicker than when they did this at Bathurst.
Yeah, well, it's a little shorter trip around here than it is at that big old track at Mount Panorama. The gambler.
Yeah, he hasn't been stellar through these first 2 chicanes, but I wouldn't say he's been slow. I think Hanlin had a flawless lap. He said that there was time still on the board after he did his lap. I didn't see where he left it. I'm looking. Look, what does the stopwatch say here, Bill?
Thumb says he's 2 tenths of a second behind Hamlin, so let's see if he can pick it up on the backside here.
Yeah, so that would put him right around where Tim Ryan is now. That's of course providing Rogers doesn't make any mistakes here. Entering Ascari, he uses up a full curve on the entry. I actually think I may have gained him a bit of time back.
That felt pretty good. That looked pretty good from my camera angle there.
Just 1 turn left to go, and there's a million different ways to approach it. Carlos Sainz has even shown in an F1 car that you can drift it around here. Although I think he ended up in the gravel trap, so there is still a bit of a gravel trap on the outside there. Keeps some of the history on this Monza circuit. Rogers crosses the line, going all the way up to the wall, and he goes to the top, Bill.
There you go. He was 2 tenths of a second faster at the little thumb place there. We're halfway through. He's able to hold it in. Let's go ahead and let Let's go ahead and let Sam talk to Joshua Rogers.
Joshua, at the start of a lap there, I've got to be honest, it didn't look like you were exactly flying through the first couple of those chicanes, but through Ascari, boy, you were using up all the curves there.
Yeah, no, it definitely ruined turn 1, I think. Threw it in a bit too deep. The weather change probably caught me off guard a bit, and probably caught others as well. But yeah, through Ascari, I just thought I'd go full V8 spec and chuck it over the curbs, and I don't know, seemed to work okay.
Yeah, it's a pretty good time. At the very worst, you're going to start back on the third row of a grid. Would you be happy with that, or are you trying to aim for a pole here?
Obviously, I think my pace is nowhere near pole pace, but you never know what can happen. It's a shootout. But yeah, probably I'll be happy with that. It's a long race, 60 minutes, so...
Yeah, absolutely. Well, we're about to watch your teammate Richard Hampstead take a lap. Good luck in the race this evening.
Cheers, mate.
And there we go, looking at Kenny Rogers back on the pole. Now we're looking at the pole, the man at the front of the points right now. That is Richard Hampstead.
Yeah, teammate car here, very similar looking to Joshua Rogers' machine. It's got a little moustache on the front end of that number 93 Mercedes. Must be for No Shave November. Do they do that on us in Australia?
I don't know. I know he was very smooth through the first chicane. Yeah. Rogia. 39.8. That's a little bit slower than what I've been seeing from, I don't think that's even as fast as Zachary Hanlon was there. Let's see if he can pick it up on the back half of the track.
Yeah, well, Zachary Hanlon had a really smooth lap. Joshua Rogers, we pointed out at the time, he really threw his car into Ascari, and that's what's given him provisional pole right now. If Hampstead can get through this turn here, Ascari cleanly, and he does it pretty nicely, I have a feeling we're going to see him battling Tim Ryan for third here. Yeah, that could have been bad.
That may put him at the back there. I don't think he's going to pick up an incident there, but he did catch some grass. I know there's a lot of people would be happy to see Green Eggs at the back of the pack, at least starting 10th. Have him work a little harder. He's had his share of wire-to-wire victories so far this season. All right, let's see what he can do.
Crosses the line here, and he does indeed go fourth, just 600ths back of Tim Ryan there on the second row.
Let's bring him on in. Sam, why don't you go ahead and talk to Green Eggs?
Yeah, Richard, considering you went out late in the session there, you're probably hoping to start towards the front. Unfortunately, you're back fourth with about 3 cars still left to go out on track. Probably not too happy with that, I should imagine.
Yeah, nah, that lap was no good, so yeah, I'll be starting back a bit, but well, it'll be a bit of fun battling through and try to get on the podium at the end of the race.
Now, when we see open wheel cars race here at Monza, we talk about the draft a lot down these long straights. Does that play into effect with the GT cars at all? And do you expect to use the draft or any strategies like that to make up those positions?
Oh yeah, the draft will have an enormous effect on the race, and yes, if you can hook onto the back of someone, it'll be very easy to pass into turn 1 and turn 2 and that. So yeah, I think that'll play a huge role. It should be a fairly entertaining race to watch, I think, as long as no one pulls away at the front.
Yeah, well, thanks for talking to us, Richard. Good luck in the race. And Bill, you've Marcelo Rivera about to start his lap.
Marcelo Rivera, always a fast driver. Sometimes has trouble bringing the car home in one piece. Should be pretty good in qualifying, so let's go ahead and see what he can do. And I must admit that time my thumb slipped on the stopwatch, so we're not going to get a time this time. So we're just going to eyeball our way through here. Nice and smooth through the first chicane.
Not so much on the exit. You saw him fighting the wheel a little bit there. And that can hurt your speed around the Curva Grande and down to the second chicane.
He was your third fastest qualifier in the first qualifying session. I liked it through there. That felt good.
Yeah, he put a couple of wheels off on exit, but we've seen a couple of drivers do that earlier this session, and iRacing didn't give them an incident point, so should be all good. Yeah.
Boy, that one was close.
Guess that's been solid, Bill. It hasn't been spectacular. I wonder if we'll see it filter into about second or third place at this point. Another Mercedes out there on track. Every car we've seen in this session has been a Mercedes bar one, and that was Tim Ryan, who currently sits third in the Audi. But then the last two cars we're going to see go out on track are two cars we haven't seen at all, a Ford and a McLaren.
Marcelo has been with us since the beginning of the series. He has missed a couple races.
Yes, Mercedes hasn't missed any though, has it? Oh wow, it goes to the top.
Look at that. 147.9 as he is on the pole. Doesn't look like we're going to get to talk with Marcello right now. He's not here. Oh, he's on the list. See if we can bring him in here. Maybe catch Marcello by surprise. Marcello, are you able to talk with us?
Yeah, I'm with you guys.
Hey, you are on the pole. Congratulations. How did it feel?
Yeah, it felt pretty good. I was very happy with how clean I managed to keep it. The track conditions have definitely changed a lot since the other qualifying session, so I was just happy to keep it clean. I knew I had enough to put the car on pole position for the moment, so I've managed to do that, so yeah, very happy.
Well, the worst that you're going to start is the inside of row 2, and I guess that's okay. You have that Strickland's McLaren in front of you, and then Peacenik and his Ford. They could be tough. Have you had much time to practice this week for this race?
Yeah, this week I actually have managed to get one good session in, did a few long runs, so got used to the car and the track. So yeah, feeling pretty good.
All right, well, good luck to you as we're going to look now at Peacenik's working through Parabolica. Good luck on the race, and we'll talk to you afterwards.
Thanks, guys.
Marcelo Rivera, your provisional pole sitter.
Peacenik knows that the fans are getting a bit tired of seeing him out front, Bill, so I guess he's decided, alright, I'll give it a different paint scheme again, make it look like a different car out front. We've seen him do this a few times this season. My
goodness, he is in a fluorescent blue machine now. Usually drives that gunmetal Ford right now. Driving a beautiful blue paint scheme with Element on the wing.
Yeah, I don't know if there is a bad paint scheme for this Ford GT. I'm sure someone can prove me wrong.
That car looks fast even when it's parked. Ooh.
Well,
pretty quick.
Yeah, I'm going to say, you may say that, Bill. It looks fast on the track right now. He's using up all the track. He's got, I think, the only Ford in the field.
Yeah, he was 3/10 faster than Hanlon, who I think had our fastest time so far on the first half. So I didn't have a time for Rivera. We'll see how he fares here.
Yeah, well, Rivera did go 6/10 faster than Hanlon, even though I said his lap didn't look fast. He was doing his best Alan Prost impersonation out there, just keeping it smooth, and the stopwatch will say how fast it is. Hey, let's ride on board him through the Parabolica here.
That's not on board. That's on the nose, baby. Ooh, look at that. I love that shot.
Yeah, pretty smooth racetrack here around Monza, as long as you keep it on the black stuff. Peacenik comes out of a final turn. 147.9 time to beat. 147.5. That was fast. My
goodness. All right, Sam, we'll let you talk to John there.
John, that was a very fast lap in a very fast looking car. How do you feel heading into this race?
Hey mate, yeah, thank you for that. Yeah, no, it was a pretty good lap overall. Made a slight error on the first chicane there on the exit, but other than that, it was pretty good. Very slippery out there for this one, but race-wise, yeah, no, the car should be pretty good. So over a race distance, should be a pretty nice car to drive, hopefully.
Do you see any disadvantages in this race to driving the Ford, fuel-wise or aerodynamic-wise?
I'm still a little bit new with the fuel-wise with the new build, with just a couple of changes they've made, so I'm not too sure there yet. Only hindrance with this car is probably just some of the curbs. It's a little bit, as I say, cranky over them, so I've just got to be a bit pretty much line perfect, but that's part and parcel, so it's all good.
Yeah, well, you look line perfect out there. Good luck in the race, John.
Thank you.
And Bill, Justin Strickland coming through the last turn.
I wonder if he thinks the blue car is faster than the gunmetal car. I wonder if he actually bought two cars and he has one each, or if he just paints the same one different colors. I don't know. That doesn't make a lot of sense, does it? All right, here we go. Talking about cars, here's the green McLaren of Justin Strickland.
They say green's bad luck on the race car. I think you could say that for Justin Strickland sometimes this year. He's had a bit of bad luck at times, but he was our fastest qualifier in the first round. That's why he gets to be the last driver to take to the track now. So our pole sitter for this evening's race will be either John Peisnick or Justin Strickland.
Remember, these guys are all qualifying to be part of that 1 hour main event that pays for the points. A little bit, got the car a little bit squiggly there. I don't think the McLaren liked to go over that much curve.
Yeah, no, I've got to say that number 555 machine we just saw out on track is looking pretty handy right now. What did your stopwatch say there, Bill?
I forgot to press the button, so we'll just have to see how it goes there. I was so impressed by the way he handled those curbs. So it'll be exciting.
Strickland goes down the hill under the oval track into the Ascari chicane. I wonder if this chicane naturally hates McLarens just because of the fact it's named after a famous Ferrari driver. But he comes out of the Ascari chicane. He did a pretty good job through it. And now down that final long straight to the Parabolica. And dare I say it, if he gets through the Parabolica without incident here, barring the fact that we had one driver get disqualified for not taking out on course, it looks like all of our top 10 drivers got through incident 3.
Pretty impressive.
Strickland crosses the line and goes third. John Peisnick will be on the front row alongside Marcelo Rivera.
Second row is going to be made up of Justin Strickland and Kenny Rogers.
Yeah, and let's have a little talk with Justin Strickland there, Bill, who just went third fastest.
See if we can bring it. Here we go. Justin, nice job. You didn't quite get the pole. You're on the inside of row 2. I guess you'll take that.
Yeah, I have to say I'm pretty happy with that, actually. The lap sort of felt pretty lethargic, if I'm honest. But, no, pretty happy when the time came up.
How does the McLaren like Monza?
It seems to love it, actually. I was pretty surprised to get a provisional pole. And, yeah, third on the grid. Very happy. On my best start all season.
Yeah, I was thinking that too. So tell you what, you've had some trouble there. You got caught up in some incidents. Now you're out in front. Let's see if you can hang on to the back of Peacenik and Rivera there, get around them, and maybe see the checkered flag first. What do you say?
If I can end up on the podium, I'll be pretty happy. I think my race car will be pretty good. So we'll see what happens in 60 minutes.
All right, Justin. Good luck to you. We'll see you in the race.
Thank you.
Justin Strickland sitting in third position. Do we want to run down these now, Director, or are we going to take a break? We'll go run these right down. Here you go. This is what we're looking at for your first 5 rows for the race that's coming up. Sam, on the first row is going to be John Peacenik and Marcelo Rivera.
Yeah, and then on the second row there, you see Justin Strickland, who we just talked to, and Joshua Kenny Rogers.
Zachary Hamlin had a piece of the pole for a while, gets pushed down the inside of row 3. Tim Ryan outside of him.
Yeah, and all those times quite close. 1.1 seconds between them, 1.2 seconds back as Richard Hampstead. Not too happy about that. Mark Rayner back there, 1.7 seconds back.
There's going to be some nervous drivers 1 through 6 with green eggs behind him there. Martin Slavasi, he came in 10th position. He's going to get that in 9th, I believe. And I don't believe Clint Smith is going to get that. That's going to go to Luis Galon there. Clint is our series organizer. So Galon will be in 10th position. All right, that's going to do it right now for the Global Sim Racing Channel. We're going to take a short break, watch this little commercial, then we will come back and bring you the entire 60-minute race. That's going to be for the points. Back in a few.
We do back to back, Skev.
Back to back like a lethal weapon. You're not back to back. That is horrible. Get good.
Welcome back to the Global Sim Racing Channel's coverage of the IDA GT3 Series, round 14 from Monza. Before the main event, let's take a look at the race details and series details, Sam.
Yeah, there you see them up on your screen there. This is the penultimate round of the season. Now, in the points championship, the drivers do have one drop week. However, pretty much all of the championship contenders have used one of those by now, so they can't really afford any more mulligans. You see there are different GT cars that the drivers can choose from, most popular being the Mercedes and the Audis. Setups are open. The format, there's a few various. One that they are using today is a standard format. We'll get to that in a moment. Rolling start, no cautions basically. Obviously, if there's a crash, iRacing has a yellow flag in that turn and you can't pass. Restarts, that means there won't be any. Fast repairs, no. Incident cap 46, but you get penalty points if you go over 15. And of course, there is 500 Australian dollars on the line. So, let's talk about this format. As we mentioned, it is a standard format. The qualifying most definitely was not. There you see all the qualifying description that just happened. Now we get to the race. It's a 1 hour race, 91% fuel load. We're not entirely sure if that means the drivers will be able to make it to the end on fuel. We're going to find out together, as I think some of the drivers will. But that does mean, Bill, that we'll probably see some drivers try and draft today and save fuel, and then also the points are standard points, and that could shake up the championship a bit heading into the finale in Zandvoort in 2 weeks' time.
Yeah, I tried to get a little insight in there. I hear that the 81% puts it real close to maybe some drivers being able to do it without a stop, is what I'm hearing from the race organizers. Let's go ahead and bring up the points. Now remember, this is the next to the last race, so to be honest with you, Richard Hampstead pretty much has this thing in hand for your champion today. Simon Fagel trying to stay in second place. John Pisek's well within striking distance. Now you notice there are those pocket points. Like Sam said, they've used up all their dropped races, so if one of those guys were to miss the finale, it would be very costly as they'd have no insurance. Jeremiah Salty Morton running there in fourth position, but not all by himself, as he is tied with Justin Strickland in that green McLaren, both 470 points behind the leader. Let's go ahead and bring up the team championship now, and this is kind of interesting. You have Lit Motorsports. Now here's a couple of drivers that you don't really see up top very much. Jackson Freer and Jeremiah Morton. We just talked about him being fifth in the chart there. But they've got that team up on front by 214 points over Evolution Racing Aussie 3. Now that's got Riley Blythe. He's always fast. And welcoming him back is Zachary Hanlon. He had to sit out 2 races because he got a little bit too aggressive there. So Riley happy to have his partner back with Apex Mafia Racing. They've been down at the bottom of the graphic for most of the season now, has worked their way up to third position. They look pretty safe in third and actually have visions of moving up into second. Martin Slavossi and Mark Simon manning that team. Team TTL1, that's the solo effort by Richard Greeneggs and Hampstead. Your overall points, I guess, if you're overall in the points, you don't need a partner. Dynamic Sim Racing 1, another solo effort by Scott Tamlin, but he's 704 points back. Okay. We just have a couple minutes to go. Let's go ahead, Sam. Can you take a look at the weather? It looks like we have some long shadows here. Is it late afternoon right now? Feels like.
Oh, I can never tell what time of day it is on iRacing, Bill. You can never tell what time of day it is in my time of world sometimes. I can tell you this much though. The track temperature is 89 degrees, which is cooler than what they just had during their top 10 shootout. And the wind is steady, only about 4 miles an hour. So, whatever time it is in this part of the world and in your time of world, the fact of the matter is this track conditions are looking pretty good. Hopefully that means we should see a great hour of racing around the Monza circuit here today.
Drivers just have a few more minutes to get used to the new time of day that's out there.
Let's have a talk about the penalties, Bill, with 1 minute before they begin getting gridded up here.
There you go. Look at that driver penalties. Now, we didn't have many from last time. There we have Jake Maloney has a 15-point penalty. that was just for going over his incidents. That's for causing of some avoidable incidents that he had there. And suspended has been served. We talked about it. Zachary Hanlon is back with his partner. Now we have a couple other drivers that we were talked about. We're going to have to start from the back. I know it was Winkleman said was going to have to start from the back, and then there was another driver that slips my mind. Feigel's going to have to start from the back. Simon. So even though he's doing well in practice right now, warm-up sitting fourth for reasons that I don't really remember why, but he'll be starting from the back, but he's fast enough. An hour should be plenty of time to work his way up to the front.
If you saw some smoke on pit road a little while ago, what was happening there was Aaron Farmer was doing a burnout on pit road basically, and locked the car down across the pit road and was smoking the rear tyres on his car as much as he could. So that's what was going on there, nothing major. Aaron Farmer just having a bit of fun.
So let's go ahead and call this right now. On the front row, it's going to be John Piesnik and Marcelo Rivera. Row 2 is going to be made of Justin Strickland and J.K. Rogers. Zachary Hanlon and Tim Ryan make up row 3. Richard Hampstead put in a practice time here, but he's going to be, he did. He's going to be sitting in 7th position. Mark Rayner in 8th. Martin Salvasi in 9th. Running out your top 10, Luis Pablo Godin.
Yeah, I think those times I've been trying up because that's from round 1 qualifying. But
I'm going to put in here for a second, break it up a little. I'll keep this. Maybe you can see if you can fix that a bit. Jared Filsell in 11th position, Stuart Hall in 12th. Riley Blythe and Philip Morton make up 13th and 14th. Clint Shane Smith in 15th. All ribbon and curls is David Jellings. Jeremiah Morton and Jason Dixon sit 17th and 18th. Mark Simon and Nino Natal in 19th and 20th. Go to the next one. 21st, 22nd, and Farm Jackson Freer. Simon Figel, we said was going to start from the back, and sure enough, he's going to be in 24th position. And Anthony Winkleman is out there in 25th. 25 drivers names on the grid. 25 drivers actually put it out on the track.
Yeah, we apologise for the audio. Yeah, it was happening on your end too, Bill. We apologise for the audio difficulties there. Hopefully they'll get cleared up for the race start here. Those top 10 times on timing sheets were not exactly in order because the traffic was coming over from the first round of qualifying. But that is the order in which they're going to start with companies ahead of Rivera. They're doing half a pace lap around here at the Monza circuit, and they are already coming into the Parabolica here. Once they come out of the Parabolica, they'll race down to the start line, and we will be underway for 1 hour of racing here, Bill, at the Monza circuit.
Keep an eye on that royal blue Ford up in front. He's going to be pacing it. That is John Piesnik. Pace car getting ready to pull in. Now remember, that start-finish line is a long way away, but that's what the pace car pulls in. He's pacing the field. He's got Marcelo Rivera. These guys are veterans. They know how to do this. He's still pacing the field. When is he going to go? When is he going to go? Boy, he's really got him bunched up. And now he goes. Boy, that was really down the straight there before he decided to go. Gather up the chickens, take cover around the house, cows. The horses are out of the barn. And John Piesnik is not really leading them into that first corner. As Marcelo Rivera really squeezing them. Oh, and going across, my goodness, missing his, that's Jared Filsell. Not sure where he's going.
Yeah, there were a few drivers running off course at the back of the pack there. We saw that happen to Vitantonio Liuzzi once, I think it happened to in an F1 race, and he came back on track right in the middle of the field. Fortunately, that wasn't a repeat there.
I think Piesnik picked up a slowdown penalty as he's now dropped to 4th. Sometimes when you pick up a black flag slowdown penalty on the first lap, it can take forever to serve. Looks like he's got that served out of the way now as he drops into 4th position.
Yeah, all this has moved Rivera up into the top spot ahead of Strickland, Rogers, Piesnik and Hanlon. The big changes up in the top 5 on the lap 1.
Then a little bit back, Jared Filsell, after missing the chicane altogether. I guess he's got that served. It's going to be in 6th position. Richard Hampstead in 7th, rounding out the top 10. Tim Ryan, Mark Rayner, and Riley Blythe.
So with Peacenik's slowdown, which as you mentioned has dropped him back to 4th, has moved everyone who started behind him up 1 spot. Mark Simon is in the pits for damage, so he's had an unfortunate opening lap.
We're going to see if we can watch Vassell here. Oh, that's a little bit late. Oh no, this is the start. Here we go. You got it, Director. Here we go. We'll get a chance to look at the start here again as everybody's single file right now on the track, so we're not missing anything. Let's see what happened to Vassell there. Right on board with him.
Yeah, keeping an eye on the battle for the lead live because of the draft down the front straight, and sure enough, Justin Strickland is pulling alongside Marcello Rivera and challenging for the top spot in the first chicane.
Rivera holds him off. Now let's see, he's on the inside here. Oh, he gets it on the grass, that's the problem. He runs out, he gets it on the grass, then the car's not going to slow down. Actually, a pretty good job at driving to avoid all those guys in front of him. Now let's go back live as there's a battle for the lead.
Yeah, Strickland wasn't able to make it work in the first chicane, but he makes it work down the inside of the second chicane here. Meanwhile, battle for 5th going on back in the field. Contact between Hanlin and Filzel. And Hampstead is in the middle of this too. They're able to get by without any major contact so far.
That's Hamlin out in front there. The car number 223 on the outside right now. That's Hampstead on the inside right behind him, peeking, giving a little push. That's Vassell. Oh my goodness, look at this battle coming on. And now getting into the mix, here comes Tim Ryan. Look at it, this is still trying to be sorted out. And they get it sorted out finally with Hamlin out in front, Hampstead behind him.
Yeah, battle for the lead shaping up again too. Strickland has it now actually. He's in front of Rivera, but Rivera's still close behind, as is Joshua Rogers and John Peacenik. We were told during the qualifying session that the draft could play a huge factor here. That's definitely being the case in these opening laps.
Top 4 cars have kind of pulled away a little bit from the cars back because of all the fun they were having.
Alright, let's see if Rivera gets a run here. Doesn't look like he is. Strickland able to keep the lead. Rogers going to capitalise on Rivera, perhaps backing off a bit and take second from him.
A couple Mercedes with the McLaren out in front and the Ford chasing. Top 4 cars.
Oh, Handlin and Jared Vassell in a bit of a crossover. They almost make a bit of contact. Exiting the chicane here, they go through the Curve Grande. You don't want to get too close here.
Let's stay on that battle for 6th position.
Handlin has that desired line.
Oh, they touch! And they straighten it out.
Yeah, Handlin loses a lot of momentum because of it though. Drops back 2 positions to Tim Ryan, Riley Blythe, and in fact, 3rd one maybe, that's Mark Rain on his inside.
Handlin, welcome back to the series. Loses no time in getting involved in another little pushing incident. Now he's in that tight battle there as we watch. On board here, peeking on the inside. Look at Blythe, they make touch. That's Blythe getting together with Vassell.
Yeah, and that checks them all up exit in Ascari there because Blythe didn't have any momentum and they almost ran into him from behind. Zachary Handling comes off the worst of that.
He loses positions. He's going to lose another one in there. That's Clint Shane Smith now on the outside. As we watch this, it's a bee's nest there. They are side by side. It looks like NASCAR racing.
Yeah, they'll have to get this all sorted out before they get to the first chicane. Talking about that, Joshua Rogers making his move into the first chicane for the lead over Justin Strickland. This is lap 4. Now let's go back to this one that's next.
My goodness, looks like they're gonna have to work real hard to keep those cars on track as they all work through the chicane. Whoops, we lost one.
Yeah, meanwhile, Strickland hasn't gave up on this lead. He's not going to make anything happen yet, but he's still following Rogers.
Winkleman just got turned around, I believe, by TJ Brown. Nope, it wasn't TJ Brown. Sorry, TJ. It was Aaron Farmer. You can see Winkleman, and that's Farmer. This kind of loops him around. Winkleman was a very fast driver, having to start from the back, and I guess that's kind of what happens to you to get put back there.
Yeah, I think another drive involved in something earlier. David Drellin's not really sure what happened to him, but he kind of stopped in the little runoff area after the first chicane, and I don't think he's returned to the circuit. Meanwhile, Joshua Rogers has actually broke away from that battle for the lead a bit this lap, but not without damage. I think the right rear corner of his car is dimmed out a little bit, but that could just be the angle I saw the car at.
And what once was a 4-car battle is now quickly becoming a 5-car battle as Hampstead is beginning to run down on the back of John Pasnick there. Another Mercedes trying to join the other two that are up there.
I think that's the first lap of a race completed without the top 10 order being inverted. Joshua Rogers leads Justin Strickland, Rivera, Pasnick and Hampstead all in the 5-car pack at the front end of the field.
And then we're looking at 8th position right now. That finally got sorted out back there. 6th position is going to be Tim Ryan, Jared Fassell, Simon Fagel, Riley Blythe, and rounding out your top 10 is Mark Rayner.
And Strickland has actually taken the lead from Rogers. I guess he wasn't anywhere near him. Rogers must have got a bad exit out of the first chicane, so Strickland back up to the point.
Yeah, Sam, that's exactly what happened.
But Rogers have been beginning to break away, which makes me think he's faster. And he had been making passes early on in the going here, so let's see if he makes another one on Strickland. Ascari is definitely an overtaking opportunity. Not going to do it this time.
Not this time, but I think he was feeling them out.
It's a good thing about the long straights here. A lot of these turns are overtaking opportunities, and as much as drivers don't like chicanes, they do create good side-by-side battles from time to time. They're not coming up to a chicane here though, they're coming up to the Parabolica. And my guess is Rogers isn't going to do anything here, he'll try something into turn 1.
Let's go ahead and stay on this battle a little longer as we get this overhead shot now. This is a great passing zone. Let's see if Rogers goes defensive. Excuse me. That'd be Strickland out in front now. Rogers peeking on the inside. Strickland in that green McLaren. And I think he's going to get it done.
Yeah, and you saw Pasnick go by Rivera for 3rd there as well. I think that's the highest he's been since his mistake on the opening lap.
Rivera drops to 4th, and he is in the clutches of Hampstead.
And contact back in the battle for 7th between Filzel and Fagel, and Riley Blythe kind of had to take evasive action, but they all continue.
Get that on replay, Sam. You saw it. What do you see again?
Well, looks like a battle side by side into the turn 1 chicane that just got a little bit too close. I don't really think Blythe had to take his evasive action at the end here, but he did to kind of be safe about it, and it cost him a lot of time.
So as we come back live, we're looking there at Jared Fassel running in 8th position.
Yeah, he's had an eventful opening few laps.
Our leader is off. Let's see if we can cover him. I think he's going to have a slowdown penalty and actually puts it in the wall. J.K. Rogers puts it in the wall. Through Ascari. You can see he blows Ascari horribly. He ends up in the beach, and then it's like there was no coming back.
Yeah, and he hasn't taken a tow, but he's waiting for all the cars to go by before he finally rejoins the circuit. We'll have to wait and see how bad the car is damaged. It is crabbing a little bit.
Yeah, it was a tough hit. Looks like he had it going straight. Looked like he was good in the sand, but not so good on the grass. So that 5-car battle now is a 4-car battle, and here comes the pass for the lead. There goes Pasnick in the blue Ford. He gets it done going into the first chicane around the green McLaren of Strickland. Strickland fighting back.
Oh, boy, that was a bit
my.
of a drop. Well, it would have been an ambitious overtaking opportunity, and Peasnick knew that it's early on in the race. Strickland was going to back off, but Strickland not willing to give up his top spot. Now there's still plenty of overtaking opportunities as long as Strickland remains within striking range of him here.
But what has happened now with Hampstead has got around Rivera.
Battle for 6. Simon Fagel comes off the worst of it. He gets knocked off the track and drops back about 4 positions. Oh. That's not a good spot to be pointing backwards.
Easy, Shane. Cars get around him. Farmer, Winkleman, Dixon all get around him. Right on board here with Shane. This is pretty scary. He loops it. And then what are you going to do? There you are right there. Go a little bit forward. Try to get off the track. Be careful. And then he has to wait. Nice job. Waits for an opening and turns it around. Pretty good driving from our series manager there.
Meanwhile, Peasnick has actually opened up a bit of a gap over Justin Strickland this lap, which is what you kind of need to do during the twisty portion of a lap, is build up enough of a gap so that you can break that draft on the front straight. It's what Peasnick was able to do. He maintains the lead for now. And the 3-wide scenario going back for about 7th position with Mark Rayner, Jared Fizell and Simon Fagel.
Getting the worst of that one, falling back, is going to be Riley Blythe. I think he's going to fall back into 10th position.
Yeah, Riley hasn't had the best of starts to this race, but still a long time to go. Mind you, say that, we're already a quarter distance.
Now remember, Simon Fagel started in 24th position. Let's look at him right now. He's currently running in 6th spot. He's made his way through all that hornet's nest of trouble there, and let's see if he can leave him behind. Let's go up front. Hampstead making a move for 2nd.
Yeah, and he made it. Pretty nice job on the entry of Ascari there. Now let's see if these drivers are going to work together and try and run down John Peasnick. Yeah, sure enough, Strickland pokes his nose out, but he's not going to attempt to move and just hold this group up. They've got to try and work together to run back down the leader.
I don't think Peasnick probably our 3rd driver in the lead right now. Rogers had it for a while. Strickland had it for a while. Here comes Strickland right now on the inside of Hampstead. That's going to slow those guys down.
Fizell had it for a while.
Yeah, Fizell Peasnick has to like that. So we've had 4 leaders that we can remember.
Yeah, well,
Boy, look at that McLaren. He is really working on Hampstead.
Yeah, Strickland has not been willing to give up positions, and this could actually be costing them.
He's got the preferred position. Actually, he's going to get it sorted out before they go through the 2nd chicane.
Yeah, because Richard Hampstead has his fastest lap is about 0.6 of a second faster than Strickland's fastest lap. I think Strickland could actually benefit by letting Hampstead go in front and having them both run down Peasnick. Obviously, that's not the way Strickland sees it.
So you have Peasnick out in front trying to gap himself between the 3 cars behind them of Strickland, Hampstead, and Rivera. You ride on board with Strickland, looking back at Hampstead. And we don't have to go there, but this is a shout out to Tim Ryan. He's running all by himself right now in 5th position.
Yeah, one of the drivers has actually had a quiet start to this race.
Yeah.
Tell you what, Bill. Don't see anyone attempting the short pit strategy. They're all going to try and see if they can make it on fuel, it seems.
I tried. I did my look at this down here. Here comes Rivera now on the inside of Hampstead. These guys are. Oh, there's a little bit of touching maybe, but what that did when they went side by side, it ruined both of their exit speed and gonna let Strickland maybe pull away.
Well, the big thing is this, all this is allowing Piesnik to just run away with the lead. He was almost a second faster than every other car on track last lap around.
Rivera again peeking his nose in there, trying. Oh my goodness, really working on Hampstead. Hampstead is all over the road, working both sides of the street like a jaywalking mailman. My gosh, Rivera knows nowhere he can get around that car.
Let's see what happens this time by. Hampstead defends the inside, so Rivera looks to the outside, but then Hampstead kind of comes across down the straight. He doesn't cut off Rivera's line, so I'm sure Rivera's not exactly appreciating this racing right now, especially considering how early into this race they are.
Here he comes again. And this time he'll have the preferred position into Parabolica. Should be able to get this done.
Yeah, but Hampstead lets him have that with the knowledge that he'll be able to do the crossover and get the spot back on the front straight here. Oh, and Rivera is coming in. First of our
That's how we solve that problem.
So Rivera is saying, no, this car cannot go to the end without pitting. It's not the only one. Another Jared Filsell coming into the pits.
Yeah, I think what's happening here is I think Rivera was happy with his pace. Remember, he was fast. I think he just didn't like being out there with all those guys. He started on the front row. I think what he wants to do is get away from all that nonsense and run some laps. He has to pass a back marker. That's a lot easier than having to deal with Hampstead.
These are the Mercedes, some of the Mercedes drivers saying, no, we can't make it to the end on fuel. Now, what's the case on the Ford and the McLaren? Because those are the two leading the race. And right now, with the rest of the field battling so hard, they could actually afford to save some gas if they wanted, because of the leads they build up. Piesnik has 3 seconds over Strickland. Strickland has 2 seconds over Hampstead. But now that Hampstead is out of that battle with Rivera, I wouldn't be surprised if he can run Strickland back down.
What we got in our information packet from the series managers was stops, 1, maybe none, was what they said, with a nice big question mark. And it was 81%, that little strange number. That's not like 50% or 75%, 81% makes you believe that some thought went into that number.
That's a square.
That the mad scientists that run this series have something up their sleeve. Right now, Piesnik out in front. Strickland running in second. Look at this, though. We're looking at Hanlon right now, running in 9th. That battle has been going on the whole race, these guys back here.
None of the other leaders opt in to come into the pits this time by, and for the first lap we really don't have much of a huge battle going on inside the top 10. Do have 2 cars running quite close for 8th, Martin Silvazzi and Zachary Hanlon. Hanlon's going to look for that position heading into the first chicane, and that is easily done.
Marcelo Rivera has come out in 17th position, it looks like. He's about 43 seconds back of the leader right now.
And the first of our drivers who have made a stop so far.
Well, we've talked a lot about the top 10 or so. Let's see if we can pick up some people we haven't talked. Let's go back to... Go ahead.
I'm sorry, Zachary Hanlon almost binned it coming out of one of the Lesmos. He'd just taken 8th place from Martin Silvazzi. He almost threw all that away.
Yeah, that's right where I was going, as a matter of fact. Some nice battling going in. Hanlon, you see right there, running in 8th, Slavasi in 9th. Remember, there's points involved as well. Slavasi wants to get Apex Racing up 1 spot. Let's drop back to some drivers we haven't talked much about here. Jeremiah Morden running, I believe, in about 12th position. He's in a nice battle. Morden running in 11th. Nice battle with a newcomer, Stuart Hall, and also in that mix is Anthony Winkleman. Remember, Winkleman is another one of those drivers that had to start from the back. He's right on board with Tony right now, looking to get around Stuart.
Meanwhile,
what a save from the car up in front, my gosh. But he's scared Winkleman's going to get both spots as Morden got loose, and it scared the heck out of Stuart Hall, who had to lift. And Anthony Winkleman just kept his foot down and say, I'll take both of these spots. Watch this from on top. This was exciting. Look at the car in the front.
Meanwhile, when we get back to live pictures, Richard Hampstead is rolling out on pit road.
There's a little bit of help getting that car loose.
Yeah, Stuart Hall was apologising on the track. Hampstead has came out of the pits far in front of Rivera. Remembering those two were battling side by side. There's about a second between them right now.
But no cars. So poor Marcelo went in and said, I've had enough dealing with you. Let me come into the pits, get away from you. Sure enough, Hampstead does the same thing and Marcelo's back in the same position again.
Yeah, well, of course, what Hampstead will be trying to do here is break away from Rivera so he doesn't have to deal with him anymore.
Our leader in the Ford stays out as we now have working here lap 25 minutes into it, about 36 to go. Not quite at the halfway mark yet.
No, the good thing about having fuel tanks that can go pretty much a full race distance, so Bill, is these drivers can really opt to pit whenever they want, whenever, I don't know, if they feel like they need to give their arms a rest for a few seconds. Could use that as an excuse. Meanwhile, Aaron Farmer's off course, but back on, I was just being told. I've seen a lot of that today, these runoff areas, it is possible. Oh, no, he isn't back on course.
Farmer doing a little agricultural racing. Blythe now making the move here as Blythe gets around Rayner. We were looking at that, and there's Farmer.
Yeah, that was for 5th position. What happened, Farmer, here?
Oh! And he comes back out on the track. A nice move. I don't know who that was behind him. Nice job getting around him. Let's go ahead, Director. Let's come back to 5th position. We've talked about it a lot, but it's Rayner in there. It's Blythe, Rayner, Hanlon involved in that. Philip Morden, Martin Slavasi. Oh, yeah. And we lose one. There goes Philip Morden off. I could just get it. I could just sense it.
Morton had just taken that position from Salvazzi, so he was trying to gap him, I should imagine, and doesn't work out too well when you push the gas pedal down too quickly.
Now we're going to watch this. Car just comes around and it just noses right into the wall. Whoops, we lost it there from the camera cut there, but you can see him backing out. I told you there were lots of trees at this track, and sometimes they come back over our camera.
Yeah, something you never really pay much of attention to until you actually get out to a racetrack. Even if you go to Road Atlanta on iRacing, you'll see some trees on the infield. Then I remember going there to the Petit Le Mans in real life, and you can set up a whole campsite in the little infield there with pitching tents and everything. So I can only imagine what goes on in the woods there in Monza.
Looking there at Stuart Hall, having a nice run. Top of that, 11th. And now making a move. He's going to get around Jeremiah Morton. Morton not going to give up. Salty hanging on the outside, but not going to work. Hall gets, oh, Salty gives him a little punt. And then also getting caught up in it is Galone. So Hall drops back as he
Yeah, Stuart Hall's been involved in these fair share of incidents early on today. I don't know how many of them have been his fault, but I've noticed him apologising in the chat a lot.
That's some pretty good, exciting racing here. Just remember, let's drop back for a second. You're looking at Hall, and look at this at our directors are. Mark Rayner again. These guys will not give this up all race long. That's Blythe, Rayner, Hanlon.
It seems these packs are impossible to break up here, Bill, because as long as you're running within a couple of seconds of the car in front of you, you can easily get back up with their draft. And you know, one car is one car running its own, two cars a couple, then you bring a third car, you got a pack.
It's about 44 seconds from Peacenik back to Hanlon. Remember when Marcelo Rivera came out? It was 45 seconds. So those guys are doing okay back there. You kind of have to worry that traffic that they're going to get involved in, but I wonder now if our leader is not coming up on traffic. Sure enough, let's go to our leader right now. He's going to have to deal with the back marker here in just a second. Oh, what do you got?
Luis Paulo Galon flips
oh my
straight.
Goodness.
Yeah, well, he lost it trying to overtake another car on the front straight. He just pulled out of line, lost the rear grip, and went straight into the wall.
Coming up behind Salty Morton, and Morton right now is also being pestered by Hall. Watch this, and then the car gets into the grass, and he rolls it over. Whoop.
Yeah, he just lost traction when he was trying to make that move. The rear end must have got light.
So there's Peacenik we're looking at, and he actually, well, since we talked, he was able, looks like, to get around that lap car of Jackson Freer. The only reason I bring that up is Peacenik has to run fast laps right now, even though there's 45 seconds. Looks like that Rivera has finally gotten around Hampstead. I think Rivera has always had the pace.
Yeah, you see him in front of track, so Hampstead was able to make a pit strategy work, but not the battle on course. But yeah,
let's go to Stuart Hall right now, if you can. There's a real kind of argument going on. There's a real argy-bargy, not only on the track, but over the mic as well, between Hall and Morton, and they have been bumping each other.
And Stuart Hall, we've seen him apologising in the chat. Now, I remember one of the Mortons, I can't remember if it was Philip, was involved in a bit of argy-bargy down at Phillip Island.
So it looks like that's settling down, but remember, also involved in that was Galone, who lost it and put it in the wall down the straightaway. So the big news is Rivera has got around Hampstead, and I know that's a battle for like 14th position. Why does it matter? Well, those guys have made their pit stop.
Yeah, they will still have to put quite an impressive pace on to catch up with the leader, John Peacenik, when the round of stops is over, providing that the drivers in the Ford and the McLaren do have to pit. But as you mentioned there, Bill, Peacenik has been running fast times, and especially now he has gotten by the lap car of Jackson Freer, he should be going faster in the free air.
It's way too late on a Tuesday for me. Come on, I've been through a crazy election and I'm still up here and you're doing that to me. Stop it. It's 4 in the morning where Sam is right now.
No, 5:45 in the morning.
Oh.
Yeah, I haven't slept. You're just waiting on 8 states for 3 hours.
Yeah, that's Ford now up to 16th position there. This has been a pretty good, exciting race with a lot of passing, a lot of action going on, not too many mistakes.
No, I think it was to be expected here in the early portion of a race, Bill. With the draft, these drivers were going to be racing in the pack, and they knew that on iRacing, when you get pack racing, there is a large possibility that something would go wrong, and the best way to be away from it is to be in front of all of it. So you saw a lot of drivers trying to make passes early on there, Now the field, you know, strategy beginning to play a factor, the field beginning to get spread out, and now not as many draft packs around this Monza circuit. Doesn't mean we won't still have some exciting racing out there. I'm sure we will, especially with the draft. But yeah, so just a little bit calm in the middle of a race here right now.
Yeah, we're looking at Hampstead and Rivera. Hampstead just got around again. I missed that. I'm sorry, I was scrolling through the thing there. We saw it on screen. Sorry about that. Took my eyes off of one screen to look for another battle.
Yeah, now you see the problem they're going to run into there is they're only 5 seconds behind Stuart Hall. They would really like it for these drivers in front of them that they're faster than, but who haven't pit yet. They don't really want to deal with battling with them because that's going to hold them up in the races that they would have against the cars who haven't pit yet.
Director, we give a little love to some of the back markers here real quick. How about 18th position, last car in the lead lap, Jason Dixon. He's about to be overtaken, but having a nice quiet race. Up one spot ahead of him, TJ Brown, running in 17th. And then we've seen Philip Morton. He's had some issues running in 16th. Let's skip a spot. We've seen Jared Fussell a lot here. He had a little incident early, but how about Clint Shane Smith? 14th right now. Nice quiet runs from these guys in the back. All right, I'll see if I can get that into the broadcast director. He's giving me a funny line, guys.
Yeah, I'll leave you be the call on that one. Meanwhile, there's a battle for 10th going on. Stuart Hall looking down the inside of Jeremiah Morton into the first turn. Jeremiah Morton yields the position once he got alongside him there. These were the two that weren't playing too nice too long ago. But now you see the problem, as those two are trading position, Hampstead and Rivera are closing in on them.
When will the leaders pit? 26 to go. They're past the halfway mark. I did my very best to try to get good strategy out of these guys. We did hear from a few drivers that are going to run it until it's dry, so that might be what Peacenik is doing right now. He has nobody in front of him.
Yeah, well, and let's look at that gap to Strickland behind him in second, because let's not forget that Strickland has been in second all along. He was ahead of Rivera and Hampstead when they came in the pits. Now, I think Hampstead and Rivera may have been going a tiny bit faster than Strickland, but it will be interesting to see how that all pans out if the top two pit.
Yeah, I think Peacenik is probably pretty safe. Now the laps is now about 47 seconds. Remember, we put the gap at 45 when it first started. I think Justin Strickland has to worry about being able to come in and take that stop and getting out in front of the Hampstead-Rivera duo. Strickland, of course, said he'd be happy with a podium. Sitting second right now, but I think a pit stop could find him in fourth. Let's go back to Blythe, this thing that's still battling here. Blythe with Rayner and Slavossi. Zachary Hanlon was in that as well, but he's fallen back a little bit now. Now we look at Hampstead. He's coming up on Jeremiah Morton. This is a battle for position, kind of a pseudo position here, as Jeremiah hasn't pitted yet. But what he is doing is going to hold these guys down. Salty's not going to be shown the blue flag here. This is a legitimate battle for a position, so he doesn't need to pull over.
Of course, Hampstead and Rivera would appreciate it if, I mean, they've been running about 3 seconds a lap faster than Morton, at least last time by they did. Here's an overtaking opportunity down the hill. How hard will Morton defend? Well, not too hard. He is gonna give Hampstead the outside lane. Oh, whoa! Comes across. Oh, Rivera gets in the grass. Able to slow down the time.
Let's stay here for a bit because it won't be long till this duo runs up behind Stewart Hall. In fact, you can see it right there. There's Stewart leading the way. They're coming, Stewart. Stewart, I believe, his first race here, he's had a nice, quiet, uneventful race. Well, more or less, I guess. Let me take that back. There was some issues going on there.
Yeah, he has a couple of dents in the front end of that Mercedes. Good thing this isn't the Mercedes track. Right, let's see, he ran a 149 last time by, and the two cars behind him ran a 148, despite the fact that they both had to get by a car. So I have a feeling they should have at least caught Hall by the end of this lap, if not attempted to pass on him.
One of the disadvantages to joining a series midway through, or in this case, almost at the end, he doesn't know the reputation of Hampstead and Rivera.
Zachary Hamlin just lost one position, maybe even two, but Anthony Winkleman goes by in tape.
Winkleman, remember, started at the back, worked his way all the way up, 25th to 9th. Fagel started just in front of him, 24th to 4th.
Okay,
right,
so
let's go back to this here. Oh, Stewart, what you gonna do?
Stay to the right. So Hampstead goes down to the inside there. Rivera's the one I'm a little bit more worried about, though. Hall looks like he's lost the position to Hampstead, and Rivera follows through.
That's pretty good driving from Stewart Hall there. Pretty good. Remember, that was not a back marker. That was a pass for position.
Zachary Hamlin into the pit.
Hanlon is in, and as he goes in, coming right around Parabolica right now are Hampstead and Rivera, so he's going to lose that spot.
And only 20 minutes to go now, so it's beginning to get to the point where battles, not that these drivers were leaving anything on the table in the early part of the race, but now you definitely can't afford to do that.
Look at another car getting around Hanlon. The Facil's going to get that position.
No, and Hanlon has retired from the race.
Well, then there's going to be a lot of cars that are going to pick up the position.
Not entirely sure why that was. He had a potential top 10 in the bag there, but then we have seen him running a lot higher than that throughout the season, so maybe he just figured it wasn't worth it.
Yeah, it's going to hurt his team, though, that it's really trying to make a run on that team championship. That's going to put his partner, Riley Blythe, all by himself one more time.
Martin Silvazzi has just lost the internet connection.
Oh, that's too bad. That's Apex Racing going to get hurt. Hey, let's go to third position. Tim Ryan. I talked about him having a quiet race, running in third position, really just been out there bothering nobody. But right now, he's got somebody up in the points. This is Simon Fagel. Fagel started in 24th. Look at the defensive line that Ryan takes, but see ya later. Give third position to Simon Fagel.
Mark Rayner comes into the pits. Meanwhile, Martin Silvazzi has returned to the server, but it might take a little while for him to rejoin the track. And while Hampstead and Rivera don't have any slower cars to battle, they're battling each other again. Rivera going to look down the inside of Hampstead. Looks like he's got him cleared, tries to come across into Hampstead. Hampstead a bit late on the brakes, but Rivera takes the position for now. Probably not the last time we'll see them trade.
I'm not going to exaggerate, that's probably the fourth time those guys have passed each other on the track.
I would consider that an under-exaggeration.
Let's go to Riley Blythe right now, who just got blown by Anthony Winkleman. Winkleman is also on the move. 25th now up into 5th.
Yeah, well, let's not forget how fast Winkleman is. He was our winner at Bathurst, one of the biggest races of the season for these Australian drivers.
"18 minutes to go. We still have lots of drivers that still need to make pit stops. Rivera is the leading driver of all the cars who've pitted. Blythe, Winkleman, Ryan, Fagel, and Strickland Piesnik have not come in yet.
And of course, we're not 100% sure if they do.
We are
have
not.
to.
We are not.
We think they do.
If I was Piesnik, I don't think he's in the position where he doesn't really need to gamble right now. I think he could come in and do what he needs to do. Well, I take that back. That's assuming that everyone else has to come in. If Strickland is back there saving fuel, thinking about going the distance, and you know, there's probably drivers that are going to be watching the replay of this and going to be laughing at us, saying, "Well, there's no way we can go the distance." But again, we were led to believe it is an option.
Hampstead going back by Rivera. Looks like this is going to change on the front straight each lap. And honestly, Bill, it's sometimes faster when they do that.
Maybe they're leapfrogging. If they can make the pass without slowing down the car in front, they pick up 2 or 3 car lengths every time they make that pass. These guys are veterans. They've raced from the beginning of the series together. They know how to do it. Both very fast. Hampstead has the ability to get the car to the finish line more than Marcelo Rivera does.
Yeah, no, I always like working with other drivers like this. Of course, only when they let me finish in front. I'm sure these drivers will have a bit of an argument about that later on.
Of course, Hampstead is your points leader. And I haven't done the math. I plan to do the math, but politics here in the United States kind of took me away from my duties for GSRC, but I honestly think Hampstead is probably close to locking this up right now. This has been a very good series. 15 rounds on the schedule. This is round number 14, and everyone has been a gem. Not a lemon in the bunch. We've enjoyed GSRC covering the GT3 series. Look for us again to be back Saturday, the 2017 series that's going on. We have big-eyed plans for that one. And look at this battle now, again, between Rivera and Hampstead.
And behind them, Stuart Hall just came into the pit. Now, see, Rivera realised he wasn't close enough this time to get by Hampstead and complete the pass before they got to the first turn. There was no advantage to be gained, so he remains behind him for this lap.
Hall now dropping positions with that pit stop.
Not a lot though, they're kind of spread out behind him. Mark Rayner's gone by, but then the next car is Jeremiah Morton, and he's only just coming through the Parabolica right now as Hall exits the pit, so I think he'll maintain 12th here.
Car running 3rd overall who have made a pit stop is Jarrett Fussell. You'll remember Jarrett had an eventful first lap where he just kind of decided not to go through the chicane at all. Made up for that though.
John Piesnik is into the pits, so the Ford has to make a stop. Doesn't guarantee that the McLaren does. Now we expect Piesnik to get out in front of Richard Hampstead by a country mile here, and in fact Justin Strickland does come into the pit.
Here they come. So that's going to turn the lead over to Simon Fagel.
Yes, sir. And in fact, we got 2 drivers running quite close up front here, Fagel and Tim Ryan.
Well, look for Piesnik, who's in there. Piesnik's beginning to roll. Let's pick up where Hampstead is. Hampstead and Rivera just coming out of Parabolica, so they'll be able to see him at the end of the straight. you can look at it right
here's
there.
the dot. Yeah, Yeah, Peasnick, only a catastrophe, I think, or a driver making it to the end without having to pit will cost him this race. The big development note, yeah, is that Strickland has lost out to Hampstead and Rivera.
We thought that could happen. We thought that he was too far back, so he's really going to have to pick it up right now to stay with those two.
Riley Blythe and Anthony Winkleman both pit this time around. The big story there is that Blythe actually leapfrogged Winkleman in pit road. They come out behind Clint Smith, and Riley Blythe goes off course and takes the Mercedes line.
Doing a little slalom through the obstacles. So the leaders of all the cars who pitted is Peasnick, Hampstead, Rivera, and Strickland. Still out on course, Simon Fagel and Tim Ryan.
Yeah, I'm showing here the drivers in the top 10 yet to pit have been Simon Fagel, Tim Ryan, and Clint Smith also yet to make a stop.
And now they come in. Oh my goodness, in fact, wow. Tim Ryan was really closing up on the back of Fagel there. I thought he was going to give him a little love tap.
Meanwhile, Jason Dixon has lost the connection. So these two pit in will move John Peisnick back up into the top spot. And
look at Tim Ryan coming in the pits. Watch him close here. Whoa! He actually thought he was going to hit him. He's actually thought an option might be to put it in the wall.
Nah, hit the car before the wall.
So both those drivers have come back out on the track. Ryan ahead of Fagel, and they're going to slot in about, I guess, 5th position. That's pretty good for them.
Yeah, and in fact, Clint Smith is in the pits too, so we can give you a live update on the top 10. Here's John Peasnick ahead of Richard Hampstead and Marcelo Rivera. Justin Strickland in 4th place. Tim Ryan rounds out the top 5 ahead of Simon Fagel, Jared Filzel, Anthony Winkleman, and Mark Rayner.
Just watch those two drivers who started at the back, Fagel and Winkleman. Doing great. Fagel running in 6th right now, and Winkleman in 8th. One more round to go in this GT3 series. Of course, that'll be in 2 weeks. 1 week from today, though, will be the sister series, Formula Renault. I believe that's going to be at Le Mans. Or it's at Le Mans. That should be fun. I want to miss that next week.
If you thought the draft was strong at Monza.
Yes, indeed. Looking at Rivera and Hampstead. Right now it's Hampstead and Rivera. But the class of the field has been John Peasnick. Go ahead, Sam.
I was just wondering if anyone has ever done a Legends race around Le Mans.
That'd take a while. Here comes a pass there from Rivera. No. About 10 minutes to go. Other than that Rivera and Hampstead battle, see if we can find you something else to look at.
Well, let's keep an eye on Justin Strickland back and forth as well in that battle. We'll have to compare the times next time around.
In fact, as we watch those guys, they work their way around Freer. You know, not that far behind are Ryan and Fagel. I'm not sure the pace that Strickland has, because he was losing a lot of time to Peasnick, so keep an eye on that one as well. But a good battle between Tim Ryan and Simon Fagel right now.
Yeah, honestly though, I think everyone's been losing time to Peasnick today. He's built up a 14-second lead over the course of this race.
And here comes the pass as Fagel uses all the ground he's done.
But in the closing 10 minutes of a race, you're not just going to let a driver go by. Tim Ryan will try and counter-attack here. Well, not here, but probably on the front straight.
Tim, welcome to the series, and come on back, race with us in the season finale, and then come and join us next year in 2017. Let's see if he's going to come back here. Here he comes, Sam.
Yeah, I'm very curious to see as Tim Ryan looks down the inside here. I think he'll be better off waiting for turn 1 though. What the incident points are at the end of this race, I think Tim Ryan has really had one of the cleanest races for our front runners today. Alright, let's see what kind of run Tim can get here. He's already a bit far back, honestly. Fagel probably got a bit of a better run out of the final turn, or maybe his Mercedes setup just has a bit better straight line speed than that of Ryan's Audi. Meanwhile, let's give you times on the drivers running around 2nd, 3rd in that battle up there. Hampstead and Rivera still nose to tail for 2nd and 3rd. They were running about the same time as Strickland. The problem is Strickland is 3 seconds behind them. In 5th and 6th, Fagel running ahead of Tim Ryan, and we've been paying attention to that. And then in 7th and 8th could be a battle shaping up there. Winkleman running down Jared Filsell.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if Winkleman doesn't get there in the next 7 minutes to make that interesting. Honestly, the best battle is the one we're looking at right now. It's the battle for 2nd. And you just got to get the hunch that Rivera could make the move whenever he wants, but once he does, then Hampstead can make it back on him. So Rivera just might be sitting back there waiting. The place I've seen the pass made is after Ascari going into Parabolica. That seemed, from the races I've called, that seems to be the pass of preference if you're trying to make that last lap snipe.
Well, also, you know, depends on what cars you are around here at Monza. I know in the skip Barber, sometimes you would want to be behind the car in front of you exiting the Parabolica.
Yeah, I would think so.
Ooh, a bit of a spinner, and into the wall goes Philip Morton from 13th place. That costs him that position to Clint Smith. He's driving in reverse, trying to get his car pointing back the right way. Knocks the wall down, so his rear wing matches his front end as well, and Philip Morton resumes from 14th.
Clint Smith had a nice view of that one.
Yeah, we're getting the replay here. You see Philip Morton just kind of loops it coming through the first part of Ascari, knocks in the front end of his machine, puts the car in reverse, and then backs the back end too, just to make a sides match a bit. Ooh, heavy moment coming through the tunnel for the drivers in 2nd and 3rd, going by the lap car. TJ Brown was a bit off a pace.
Look at a replay here.
Yeah, they both got by, alright. TJ Brown goes to the left, but then there's a bit of a curve here on the straight.
Woo!
So Hampstead remains ahead of Rivera now as we enter the closing stages of this race. Rivera's got to think about doing something soon. But not yet.
Into Parabolica on the last lap, that's my guess. Let's see. Strickland not being able to make up any time. Then there's Fagel and Ryan. Fagel still out in front. Ryan again not able to get anything done. Oh, I'm sorry. That's not quite as close as I thought there. There was a lap car in there. I see Jackson Freer. So that's really not a battle.
Yeah, the battle for 7th is shaping
yeah.
up though. Winkleman has run down for Cell.
Yeah, we knew he would. I don't think Winkleman is going to be quite as patient as Rivera is being with Hampstead.
Alright, gonna start taking a look at the clock here, because John Peasnick is going through a scurry right now with 4 minutes left on the clock. There'll be less than 3 minutes and 40 seconds left to go when he crosses the line, with the laps taking about 1 minute and 50 seconds. I think it's safe to say that when Peasnick crosses the line in about 10 seconds time, it will be at the 2 to go mark.
Right on board right now with Jared Fussell looking back at Winkleman. Winkleman in the Audi there, Fussell in the Mercedes. Nothing going on for second. So we can stay on this for a little while longer. Love this shot right under the wing.
Yeah, gonna be a very interesting to the finish here, Bill. There's a lot of battles shaping up, but none of the drivers want to make any moves until basically they're on the last lap.
Come across, we're looking at 3 minutes right now.
Yeah, 1.5 laps left to go for our leader, Peasnick.
As we look there at that Strickland, you can see that green McLaren back there was able to take no time. There's Winkleman making a move. Winkleman now in the preferred position as they go into the chicane, and Winkleman's going to be able to close the door. Whew, that's a hard door to close too.
Yeah, but has he done it too early? Will Fussell be able to get back by him before the checkered flag?
Winkleman gets another spot from 25th into 7th.
Meanwhile, watching Peasnick run his way down toward the Parabolica, and I believe that when he crosses the line, he will be starting the final lap of the penultimate round of the 2016 iRacing Drivers Association GT3 series. He started on pole, Bill, but it wasn't that easy after that slowdown on the first lap.
Doesn't matter what color he paints that car, man. That is a good-looking paint scheme too. That car's fast in whatever flavor.
Alright, so now it's the final lap. What does this mean for our battles? When are the drivers going to make their move? Rivera might attempt something on Hampstead for second going into turn 1 here. Yeah.
Let's go to that. Yeah, Hampstead goes defensive. Rivera on the outside. Rivera has some... Boy, look at Hampstead outbreak him as they go through the chicane.
Nope.
No, he doesn't outbreak him. He outbreaks himself. That's got to be a slowdown penalty for Green Eggs. Come on, Green Eggs. You're going to have to serve that, aren't you?
Oh, iRacing may say no, but the organisers will look back at and maybe disagree. Yeah, there
And there it is. Just scared us. So Rivera pressures him into that mistake. Now Hampstead has to worry that slowdown penalty doesn't drop him back into the clutches of Strickland. I think that one's going to be done. We'll keep an eye on Winkleman and Fussell as well, so that I think Rivera is pretty much...
Yeah, that battle is on because Fussell was right on the back of Winkleman entering the second chicane. Looks like that will wait until the Parabolica. Battle for ninth between Blythe and Rayner.
Blythe and Rayner, yeah. Leader is just coming into Parabolica right now, Director, so we might as well go to him and now call this finish, and we'll go back and call the rest of this here. Look at that beautiful blue machine there of John Peasnick. That Ford is going to take the penultimate round, round number 14 of 15 in the IDA GT3 series. Congratulations as the win goes to John Peasnick.
Yeah, the battle for second continues.
It's not over.
Rivera was swerving on his way down to the Parabolica, trying to break a draft from Hampstead. It worked. Hampstead wasn't able to get around on him. Rivera crosses the line in second position.
And it looks like all the other battles have broke up. Let's go to Fussell. No, they're all separate now. So
well, no, the battle for ninth is still on. Blythe's right ahead of Rayner entering the final turn here. Winkleman has won his battle for 7th. Rayner's got to get a really good run coming out of Parabolica. I don't think he can do it. His car pushes out wide. Blythe crosses the line in 9th.
Rayner takes 10th. Let's go ahead. Stuart Hall going to come across in 11th. We'll follow these guys across the line here as they complete their final lap.
Yeah, just 14 cars left on the lead lap. Still a solid number, actually, considering it's not exactly the longest track on the calendar.
Hall gets 11th. Jeremiah Salty Morton gets 12th. 13th to the new Papa Clint Shane Smith. Last car on the lead lap, the unsalted Morton. Philip. I believe I got a nickname for him that he told me about. That's that I had forgotten it. I'll do a little research to remember that one, Philip. Nonetheless, you're going to come across in 14th, last car on the lead lap. Well, I don't know about you watching, but I enjoyed that one. I think Sam did as well. This is a Global Sim Racing channel. We're going to take a short break. We will be back to run down the entire field, do driver interviews, and then close up shop. Back in just a few. Don't go away. Welcome back to the Global Sim Racing Channel's coverage of the IDA GT3 Series Round 14 from Mazda. Wow, we had an exciting event. Let's go ahead and run down your finishing order right now. It wasn't wire to wire, but after he got out in front, he was hard to catch, and that was the bright blue machine of John Piesnik. Marcelo Rivera and Richard Hampstead had to battle the entire race. It just so happened that it worked out. Rivera got the best of it, Hampstead in third. Excuse me. Justin Strickland in fourth, Simon Fagel in fifth position. Tim Ryan, welcome to the series. A nice run from you in sixth. Tony Winkleman started all the way back in 25th position, made it up to seventh. Jared Fussell in eighth. Ninth position goes to Riley Bright, and then rounding out the top 10 is Mark Rayner. Sam?
Yeah, then we had Stuart Hall, who had a bit of an eventful race, placing in 11th ahead of Jeremiah Morton. League organiser Clint Smith was in 13th. Philip Morton dropped back to 14th after a late race incident, last car on the lead lap. One lap down, we had Martin Silvazzi, who did well to salvage a top 15 place finish despite the fact they lost the connection during the middle of a race. Trax Amphia was back in 16th, also a lap down. 2 laps down, TJ Brown in 17th, and then we get to drivers who weren't able to make it to the finish. Trayson Dixon had an internet connection issue back there in 18th, and then Zachary Hanlon and Mark Simon round out the top 20.
Hidden Blackjack was Luis Pablo Gayon. 22nd position went to Aaron Farmer. We saw both of those guys. Gayon had trouble on the front straight. Farmer had trouble hitting it in the wall. Joshua Kenny Rogers, the gambler, didn't fold him, didn't know when to fold him here as he finishes 23rd. David Jellings in the double dozen position, and then Nino Natal 32 laps down the last car. All right, let's go ahead and bring in some interviews here. I feel like doing the leader here today. I don't usually get to talk to John in a long time, so let's bring John Piesnik in. I'm going to take this one. John, it doesn't matter what color you paint that car, it seems to be fast. Congratulations on the win.
Thank you very much, guys. Yeah, it's a bit of a new colour scheme for today. That's actually the scheme we're going to be using for the endurance series, so I just thought I'd get in a bit ahead. But yeah, mate, very happy with the car. Did what it was told and turned out to be pretty well.
Well, the bike markers are certainly going to see you coming in that one. Hey, let's talk about the first lap there. I believe it was Jared Purcell that got the car in the grass and shot through. Were you able to see him rocket by you as you were going into that first chicane?
Yeah, I didn't know he was coming. I only saw him as he was on my right as he was going through. Luckily, I don't think he had control of it there, unfortunately, but lucky he was able to miss everyone. But yeah, silly me, got to slow down there on the first chicane, which made a bit of a just made the start a little bit harder. But you know, regrouped from that, and yeah, it was pretty good from there on.
Well, your main competition, Simon Fagel, finished fifth, so you're going to stay a little bit ahead of him, I think, in the points. So don't know if you have anything for Green Eggs, but I'm going to ask you this. I know that the series is moving to Saturdays next season. Are your Saturdays open? Will we be able to see you in this big undertaking that Clint Smith has underway?
I'll be 100% honest. Yeah, I will return for next year. I don't know if I can make every Saturday night though. But I'll generally try and make, you know, obviously the circuits that I love. And if I can get to all of them, so be it. But I doubt I can get to all of them on a Saturday night because obviously, unfortunately, life sometimes, life can take its little way. So, but we'll see how we go. And yeah, just take it as it comes.
Well, GSRC, it looks like we're going to be there, so we'd hopefully see you for whatever races you can be, because it's always great to see you racing. And bring that Ford with you, okay?
I plan on, mate. So I absolutely love the car. So as long as iRacing play nice with the BOP, and it's reasonably decent, I'll be in it. So.
All right, congratulations, John. Peace. Hey, John, before you go, let's go ahead and review the. Am I saying it right? If I say Piesnik, is that okay? Is that the proper pronunciation?
Yeah, Piesnik. Yeah, you're doing well, mate. So
all right.
I'm pretty impressed with that too. So well done.
Right. Thanks, John. All right, buddy. We'll see you down the road.
Cheers.
Your winner today, John Piesnik. Sam, you want to, let's see who we got. We don't have Marcelo here. You want to talk to Green Eggs? Let's bring in Richard Hampstead for. Oh, here we go. Let's see if we can bring him in. We don't usually get to talk to Marcelo. Sam, Marcelo Rivera, let's see if you can get him on the phone there.
Yeah, Marcelo, you have a copy?
Oh, yeah, I'm here, guys.
Awesome, great to hear from you. You got second place there. Were you hoping to get one position better today, or will you take a second?
I'd always be happier with one position more, but Peacenik's pace is just too much for us, so overall I was very happy with the second place. I think that's about where I was at, really.
Early on in the race, you and Richard Hampstead really started mixing it up for second and third position, and that kind of went on for most of the race. Was that frustrating you, that battle was perhaps letting the cars in front of you, Peacenik and Strickland, run away a bit?
Yeah, that definitely wasn't the plan for me. I was more than happy to just save fuel, which I was doing very well. And the two guys in front of me started battling a little bit, and I could tell Peacenik was getting away. So I was a bit disappointed by that, because I knew it was going to be hard to get if he got out of that slipstream, and as you saw, it happened. So then I decided my next option was to maybe pit early. Hopefully I'd saved enough fuel to jump them a little bit, but it wasn't the case. Richard Hampstead came out just in front of me, and then the race was still on till the end.
Now, how would you explain what went down on the final lap between you and Hampstead heading into the first corner on the last lap?
Really, from that point on, it was just get myself into good second place position as early as possible. I didn't realize that was going to be the last lap. I did have a plan in place that I was thinking about for the majority of the race towards the end there, but when I saw the white flag, I was like, all right, now I've got to put as much pressure on him as possible. If I can manage to get the car in front of him, that's the most important thing. Track position's always number one, yeah, but luckily for me, putting pressure on him caused him to make a mistake, and that was pretty much it.
Alright, well, congratulations on your second place finish here tonight. Hopefully we'll be able to speak to you from Victory Lane in the not too distant future.
Awesome, thanks guys.
Alright, that was our second place finisher, Marcelo Rivera. Bill, I think you've caught up with our third place finisher, Richard Hampstead.
I do. I got Green Eggs here, third place on the podium again. Yeah, it'll work a little harder. Started 7th this time, Richard.
Yeah, didn't quite get a great lap in the shootout. I always struggle in those situations, so that was not really a surprise. So 7th, and worked my way up through the field slowly, and almost probably didn't quite have the pace to stick with Peacenik. We probably could have if we just stuck in the draft and didn't battle, but yeah, we got caught in a few battles which lost us the draft, and then it was pretty much just a battle for second. And I knew me and Marcelo were doing the same thing, just trying to wait it out, bide our time till the end to have a proper battle. And he had a crack on the last lap, and I just unfortunately outbraked myself into the first chicane, and gave him the spot. So that was a little bit of a shame, but all in all, not a bad night, and I think that should have mean that I've rounded up the championship.
I think that's what was our thinking too, that you got yourself there. I didn't want to congratulate you too early until I got the official news, but I think it's pretty safe, so good job on that. We were watching on lap 2. I know you were in that battle with Rivera the whole time, but early on in the race, you were in a heck of a battle there with like Hanlon and Fussell in the as you were working your way through.
Yeah, I wanted to get out of that as soon as I could, and get up to the lead battle. So I was definitely happy to get through that.
Well, man, it has been a fun time watching you. You've been pretty impressive. We've talked a lot about the BES series. A lot of the guys are in that one. I can't remember. Are you racing in that one as well?
Yep, should be. So we did it this year, and we ended up P8 overall. So hopefully we have a good one next year as well.
Well, congratulations on the podium today. Congratulations on the championship. Hey, just because you won it let's not say goodbye here. Come on back and race with us in a couple weeks to round out the series.
Yep, I definitely will be. So, yeah, looking forward to it.
All right, congratulations. Your third place finisher today, and we think you're the season champion, Richard Green Eggs and Hampstead. Okay, I think, Director, do I have permission to wrap this thing up? And he's going to say yes to me because he's just as tired as I am. So if I call up my script here, let me go through the thank yous. I'd like to thank everybody at the iRacing Drivers Association for organizing this series and contracting with GSRC to broadcast it. Hey, thank you to the Screwed Gamers, Kart Action Media, and Zanardi Course Australia for sponsoring the broadcast. Sincere thanks to them. Thanks to the companies, equipment, and software that you see on the screen right now that we use on our broadcast. The original music you've heard today is thanks to Eric Eckelm and Casey Lalonde. See the screen for how to contact each of them, and for Pete's sake, when you do and you listen to their music, use headphones, okay? Thanks to my mic mate Samuel Ryman, our director Joe Peak, Dougie Beard for his camera locations. The next race for the iRacing Drivers Association is next week, November 16th, when the sister series, the Australian Formula Renault, visits Le Mans. You don't want to miss that. Renault at Le Mans, that seems only right. The GT3 series wraps up this season on November 23rd from Zandorf. The GSRC will be there for all the action. For details about all upcoming events, or just to get more information about GSRC, go to globalsimracingchannel.com. Rumor has it we're also on Twitter if the social media guru would get his act together. You can do that at GSR Channel and Facebook at Global Sim Racing Channel. And now, on behalf of my mic mate Samuel Ryman, our director Joe Peak, camera artist Dougie Beard, and all the Democrats in the United States, we'd like to thank you all for watching. And that said, with all the housekeeping out of the way, it's time for us to go have fun storming the castle. So until next time, race hard, race clean, and we'll see you on the track.